One of my favorite game modes in Fortnite is Blitz Royale. Not only do I just find it really fun, but I also enjoy the faster pace of the gameplay. I've also noticed that getting wins in this mode is a bit easier than the regular Battle Royale mode, so that's when I thought, why not try to get 3 wins in a row in Blitz? I've also decided to try and do this challenge in one long play session. A challenge like this is absolutely possible. As long as you keep playing, it'll happen eventually. However, I don't feel like grinding Fortnite for days or weeks, so I'll see if I can get it in one extended session. Since I spent so much time attempting this challenge, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Getting started with my first game, I went into it with a little too much confidence. I don't know what it is about Blitz, but I swear, this game mode is really easy to get wins in. Shortly after this, however, the game quickly humbled me and showed me that this game can get chaotic if I'm not paying attention. Oh my gosh, okay, I get it. Stop. Once that fight was over, the rest of the game wasn't too crazy until near the end. The final fight itself wasn't too eventful, but one thing I did notice was that my aim was honestly really bad. Of course, I'm not gonna win, cause my aim is doo-doo. The fight wasn't even that intense, I just had terrible aim. Either way, I was able to win the game and was one step closer to my goal. Getting started with Game 2, I honestly was feeling good, and had a feeling this challenge wasn't going to be super difficult. You know what, I'm feeling good. I have a feeling this challenge isn't gonna be super difficult. The start of this match got a tad bit hectic. Right off the bat, I was already fighting 3 people, and it also didn't help that I was missing some of my shots. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert at this game, but one thing I think was affecting my gameplay was input lag. The way I set this up was by hooking up my PS5 to my capture card, then just playing the game off the capture window. For most games, this is fine, but I think I was getting some input lag, which made it a bit harder to aim more accurately. Like I said, I'm not great at this game, so even if there wasn't any input lag, I don't think I would be amazing, but I do think it played a very small role in my performance. Moving on, as I was wandering the map, I stumbled upon another player, and let's just say the fight didn't go very well. Down. Person. Where'd they go? What am I doing? Yeah, I won't lie, that was pretty bad. Sometimes, whenever I need to switch to a different weapon, I get the buttons confused, and end up picking an item that I didn't even mean to. Once that happens, I get all messed up and forget how to even play. While it's not a huge deal most of the time, it can really hurt if I'm not careful. Anyways, I'm going to speed through the next hour of footage, because honestly, it just came down to me playing well and getting lucky. The next game I played honestly wasn't very eventful until the end. Once again, my terrible aim was a real obstacle, and nearly cost me the win. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep up the streak for the next game. Like most matches, the start wasn't an issue, but near the middle, I started to get overwhelmed by 2 other players. Not only that, I was stuck reloading my weapons, so I didn't have much time to fight back. For the next hour and a half, I had the same rhythm going on. Drop in, get some gear, get a win, drop into the next game, then lose. What hurt even more is the fact that I actually got somewhat close to getting a second win a couple times. Okay. Just survive, please. That's all I'm asking. That's all I've ever wanted. No! Oh no, my gosh. I don't know where the other guy is. He's right here. Oh, that hurts. During one game, I wasn't even anywhere close to winning. I was the first person to die in this game. Despite those last few games not going very well, I was able to secure another win without much trouble. Hey! Number 1 victory royale for me. Once I loaded into the next game, I started to develop a little bit of a strategy. Once I had my first initial win, I become more defensive for the next game to keep myself alive and increase my odds of survival to get a second win. So while the beginning of this next game went fine, the second half became really tense. Every enemy I came across was extremely aggressive, and I just wasn't able to keep up. Wherever you are hiding, I guess. You know, I really felt like I could have gotten 2 wins right there. While the next game didn't really go any better, I was able to win the game after that and start up my strategy again. Unfortunately for me, however, I got another bad game and lost in 10th place. Okay. Oh my gosh, seriously, no, dude, come on. I think I was a little frustrated with how that game ended, but I can't lie, I didn't play the greatest there, so that one's on me. For the next couple games, I did get somewhat close to winning, but I ultimately fumbled near the end. And honestly, for the next 20 minutes, I really wasn't doing that great. I either wasn't making the greatest decisions during combat, or getting overwhelmed by multiple other players. Well, that wasn't very good. Ugh. Safe to say, I really wasn't doing all that well, especially considering I was dying in the middle of the game most of the time. After I took a short break, I decided to switch up my setup a little bit. Instead of playing on my PC through the capture window, I decided to hook up my PS5 to the TV like normal, then just record using my capture card. I figured if I played on my TV, I should be able to get rid of some of the input lag and have a better shot at winning. During this setup change, I also decided to really try and focus and not worry about commentary, so for the rest of this video, it'll just be voiceovers. Once I started up my first game after the switch, I did notice I was doing a little bit better with aiming and reactions, so this gave me hope I could pull off this challenge a little bit easier. Honestly, the next few games weren't really that crazy. I did have a couple close calls here and there, but I was able to get a win without too much trouble. The match that followed, however, was a lot more chaotic. I seriously ran into another player every other minute, and that made this game even more stressful. Keep in mind, I was also feeling a little tense because I already had a win, so I really wanted to keep up the streak. Fortunately for me, I was able to secure a second win, meaning I was just 1 win away from completing this challenge. This wasn't an easy win either. It was definitely a little too close for comfort, but hey, a win's a win. After I joined another game, the pressure felt palpable to me. I could feel the tension in my body. Not only did I want to get a third win, but this was the closest I had gotten to finishing this challenge, so I needed to make sure I played extremely well. Once I dropped onto the map, I was able to hear a fight going on in the distance. My instinct was to third party like I usually do, however, I decided against it. I wanted to be as defensive as I could, so I wasn't going to risk anything. However, I made my decision way too late, because once I had made up my mind to run away, I was chased down and eventually killed before I had a moment to recover. I'm not gonna lie, this one hurt a lot, since this was the closest I had gotten to finishing this challenge. I know I said this before, but the pressure to perform was real, and I could feel it weighing on me during this game. While it was a little relieving to have that pressure gone, it was really disappointing to be further away from my goal. For the next hour, I got into a rhythm of losing a couple games, winning one, then losing again, and that definitely wasn't fun. I was able to get up to 2 wins again a couple times, but then I would end up just folding under pressure. By this point, I was honestly considering giving up on this challenge. I had been playing for 3 hours, and I was getting tired, so I thought about maybe just letting it go and saying that I couldn't do it. After taking another break, for whatever reason, I just couldn't give up. I had gotten so close multiple other times. I knew this challenge was possible. I just needed to keep trying. I won't lie, during this last stretch, I was really tired and really felt like giving up, but I knew if I kept trying, I could eventually beat this challenge. For the next couple games, I didn't do amazing, I'll admit that, but I was able to get a couple good wins, so my hopes were still high. After another 45 minutes of games, I was eventually able to secure another win without too much trouble. Since the last player was stuck in a river, it was really easy to just use my shotgun and get an easy win. The game after that one was a little intense. I came close to dying a couple times, but I was able to escape and heal before I got too low. Once it was down to me and the final player, I honestly didn't struggle here either. Not only did they get stuck behind a tree, but they also missed most of their shots, so it wasn't too hard to just use my shotgun again and get another win. When it came down to this next game, the tension was back. I knew I couldn't afford to have any slip-ups, so I really needed to play efficiently. I was able to take down some other players without losing too much health, so that gave me hope that this could be the game where I finally finish this challenge. The last 2 minutes of this match was honestly brutal. It felt like one wrong step could be the end of my streak, so I tried to stay hyper aware of everything that I could. After I killed 2 other players, it was down to me and one other person. This was the closest I have gotten, and at this point it felt like my heart could explode at any second. As I was making my way to the center of the circle, I heard some gunfire to my right. This was it, the fight that determined whether this challenge was completed or just another failed attempt. I could almost feel the paralysis creeping up on me, as if existing in this space was too much for my brain to comprehend. It may not seem like it in this clip, but I was terrified. Despite all of the feelings I had, I did as well as I could, and ended up pulling it off. This felt extremely satisfying to finally finish. Of course, I was excited to complete the challenge, but another part of me was honestly glad to just be done. This challenge was difficult, way more difficult than I originally thought, but I genuinely had a fun time doing this. While I definitely could have played a little bit better in some spots than I did, I think what matters most is that I kept trying and eventually finished it. This kind of challenge is something I probably won't do again for a while, but if people are interested, I'll think about trying something like this again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know this is a game I don't usually talk about, but I felt like doing something a bit different would be fun. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I love you, and I will see you all later.